I think one of the most miraculous things me and Brother Jerry seen in the early days is we were doing a big meeting in Kenya. We had killed the cow for the meat, and so then the next thing you put with it would be the rice. But we knew we didn't have enough rice. We knew we didn't. And so Brother Jerry said, well, we're going to have to do like the Testament said. It said they asked for increase. And he said that the little 12 little, the 12 little lunches was multiplied, and so we said, Lord, we need a multiplication of this rice because we've got so many people here, we can't feed them all. Wow. And the Lord spoke right at that time. He said, don't have the people look in the rice, just have them keep stirring the rice and dipping it out, but don't look in. And so I went over and with an interpreter, and I said, all of you, you don't look in the rice pot to see if it's full or empty. You just stir. And it was like a paddle you'd do a boat with. Yeah. And that was because it was a pot like the old movies where they put the people in them, in the old African movies.
Boil the people.
Yeah, the people, And I always never forgot that. But this pot was that big. Wow. And they never quit. They never looked in it. They just kept stirring, adding water, kept stirring. And we fed all the people, and there was still a whole pot of rice.
Oh, my goodness.
That was probably the first notable feeding miracle that me and Brother Jerry had ever seen. Wow. And I told him, I said, there's nothing that God can't do if we expect it. Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing, because we knew we couldn't do it. There was no way. We had nowhere to buy it. Mm-hmm. Like the Old Testament and the New Testament talk about it, they didn't have a place to buy it. It had to be created, and Jesus fed the 5,000.
Well, didn't you have the same type miracle when you went to feed a whole village?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you had it in the truck, and the food just kept multiplying as you gave it to the orphans and widows?
Yeah, Preston was there. Okay, Preston was there. He was a little kid at that time, him and Cassidy. And we knew we didn't have enough food for the village because they were coming from everywhere. And so we thought, okay, we might have to lessen the amount we give each individual. And we thought, well, that's not an abundant God. Mm-hmm. So we started praying, got all the team together and prayed for abundant. Well, we had 35 tons of food with us. Tons, people. 35 tons. Oh my gosh. Not a few little bags, tons. And so we pulled up, and then all of a sudden beside us, a truck pulled up. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know where it come from. And it's got another 35 tons of food in it.
What a miracle.
And so, we're looking, and the guy comes off the truck and starts unloading it. And I said, so who sent this? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, you're making our people look bad, so we had to bring food to help you feed them. So I won't tell you where it happened because it had to do with
a certain
things
nation.
We can't say. But it was their people that we were making them look bad.
Government people finally
but we don't tell you where it was at or anything. And so we fed 70 tons of food and had food left over. And so that was left in the storehouse, which was the church. Mm-hmm. We made them come. We said, your help is in the church. If you want the food, you got to come through the church. So if they didn't believe in our word,
our God,
then they had to still come in to get that food. Yeah. And several got converted that day.
That's
and we always give them a book,
Jesus.
How to get them saved, how to get them spirit-filled, because you got to give them the spiritual food with the physical food. But there was miracle after miracle after miracle, blind eyes, feet growing, arms growing, stuff that I'd never seen anything like it. Other than in Oral Roberts meetings, I'd seen stuttering leave and some of that kind of stuff.
Didn't you see a garter? Is it called a garter?
Yeah,
Gorder on necks and body parts, and cancers disappear.
All kinds of stuff. They would walk up and you could see big growths all over their bodies, different ones. And when Brother Jerry would say, I curse that and command it to die at the roots, it would just dissolve, or it wouldn't be there, or it would just be skin. Mm-hmm. So the end part of it was gone. Wow. But it was, and we should be seeing that today. Exactly. No different, and that's why you can go into a hospital or something, and we ought to be clearing the hospitals out with the miracles of God.
Truthfully, it was two things when you're sharing. I love these stories. They get me all fired up. Maybe we'll flip the table over, but it's one of those things. One is that when you were talking about the food being stirred, and you said, "Don't look down.
Don't look down. Don't get doubt."
Yeah. Well, it makes me think of Peter walking over the water, another miracle.
Yeah.
And it was the moment that he saw the clouds, he saw the storm around him, and the moment he looked, he was aware of what he was actually doing is when he began to sink. And it's just, it ties together. It comes as a direct result of faith and believing and having belief in what God is capable of doing.